We need to have a little talk, and it's not really directed at you guys because I know you're all very sensible people. But I went out for my uh, half-hour walk yesterday, just to get a little bit of exercise, and I noticed that at the park there are quite a lot of people who are just sort of, adamantly rejecting the idea of what we're supposed to be trying to do as a society at the minute. I'm not normally one to try and use my history page as a kind of a platform to really talk about anything serious outside of history, but this actually, it really got to me. I saw groups of like 8, 10 people just kind of walking around together like nothing was going on, and I thought, what better way to sort of explain how the current government measures are supposed to work than with my knowledge of history. So what I wanted to just really, really quickly talk about is the fact that a lot of people are just basically just don't even care about what's going on at the minute, and they seem to still be in this mindset that the coronavirus, COVID-19 caused by the coronavirus, is not a serious thing when it really is. Lots of people are very, very ill, and people are dying, and people aren't taking the Prime Minister's order to stay at home at all costs, except for essential things like going out for food and medication and that kind of thing. They're not taking it seriously. And as someone who's read a lot about different pandemics and contagions and deadly diseases that have spread throughout history, I thought it'd be a good time to use a bit of that information to actually explain how this works and why it's important. So basically, what we've been talking about is the curve. Now, you've probably all seen the chart where it shows the curve of the healthcare services sort of capacity to look after people, and the rate at which a disease can spread, vastly outstripping that capacity. And basically what we're talking about here is just some really simple quarantine stuff to stop that from spreading. It's a simple thing that if you only meet one person a day, at most you're going to get one person sick if you are sick yourself, which you might not even know you are. If you meet 8 people in one day, that's 8 people you could get sick. And if they go on and meet 8 people, that's already a whole slew of people, about 64 people that are going to be sick. My maths could be completely wrong there. I'm terrible at maths, so do forgive me. But it's as simple as that. It's about numbers. And just to really kind of hammer home the effectiveness of things like this, if people take it seriously, I just want to talk about a really, really quick example from probably the most famous disease outbreak in human history, the Black Death. Now, obviously, you saw the Plague Doctor mask there in the opening, and that's basically just for drama to hammer home the point. But the Black Death, obviously, is still regarded as one of the worst outbreaks of disease in human history. It predates things like antibiotics by several hundred years. So basically, we're talking about a disease that was absolutely horribly virulent, incredibly dangerous, and killed people within days. That just spread across Europe and indeed the world. And there are only actually a few places that weren't massively affected by this. And that is actually what I want to talk about, is one of the few examples of a place in Europe that wasn't actually massively affected. And it is the region that is now known as Croatia. So if you actually look at a virulence map from the 1340s, well, not from the 1340s, but sort of a modern depiction of the spread of the Black Death, basically what you typically see is areas that are deep red is areas that have been massively affected by the Black Death, where there is anywhere up to about 60% loss of life. So that would be places like Britain, France, Spain, parts of Germany, Germany, the Holy Roman Empire, Italy, any of the Italian city-states all suffered horribly from this. The region that was known as the Byzantine Empire, so Constantinople, basically everywhere, pretty much anything to do with Europe was massively affected, except for one area. If you see where Croatia is on the map, you can basically see an area where there's just a little orb of white surrounding one little dot of red. And that little dot is modern-day Dubrovnik. And basically what the Croatian, I say government, but the Croatian, we'll just say government for the sake of ease here, they basically just ordered, once Dubrovnik showed signs of being infected by the plague, all they did was, they just turned around and said, no one's going in or out. No one in, no one out, no one's allowed to go out and socialise with each other. Basically, that's it. Now, obviously, that's very draconian. In effect, it kind of left Dubrovnik to its fate. And that's not what we're talking about here. We're not even actually talking about something as extreme as that. But that one simple order to basically quarantine an area which was basically already deemed lost saved Croatia from the worst of the Black Death. Just that simple idea of making sure that people don't go out and meet other people who aren't infected, they don't flee in terror and just immediately go to somewhere that's safer, which is what's happening a lot in places like Wales at the minute. A lot of people are going over to Wales for some reason, thinking that they can escape from the big city and everything, which is actually the opposite of what happened in the Black Death. But that one decision basically saved thousands of lives. Again, very, very draconian. But the thing is that we've got to remember is, as an example, it works quite well because we're not even being asked to do anything remotely as severe as that. We're literally just being asked to stay home unless you actually have to go out to get food or medication or anything serious, or if you just want to go out for half an hour's exercise a day in a group of 2 at maximum from your household, just to go out for a walk and don't go up and walking and meeting other people. Now, it's very easy for me to say that. I live alone, so I don't actually have anyone here who can go out with me. There's no one here driving me crazy. I don't have kids, so I don't know what it's like to be stuck indoors with kids. But I know it's got to be difficult. But the temptation to go out to the park and have a kick about with the football, it could kill people. I don't mean to be sort of over dramatic, but it's very true. It can kill people, and it's our elderly and our children who are the ones that we most need to be thinking about here. So I saw 2 families together at the park on Saffron Lane, near where I live. But basically, they were just 2 different families together playing football. On any other time, that would be, completely fine. But right now, we really need to actually be thinking, right, we can't be just talking about life like it's just going to go around as normal, but we're not going to go to concerts or football matches anymore. No, we actually need to take this seriously. We really, really do. And yeah, it just really bothered me that people still aren't taking this seriously. What I've been saying to some of my friends who've been struggling with staying at home and quarantining is that we can't do things normally anymore. We need to create a new normal. Write yourself a routine, stick to it. Say to yourself, in the morning, I'm going to do some work, whatever that might be. If you can work from home, then do your work in the morning, get that aside first. And then once you've done all the work you have set aside for the day, that's when in the afternoon you can actually treat yourself to something fun. If you just spend all of your time playing video games or watching movies or something like that, that becomes a routine and it becomes boring very, very quickly. And that's how you go crazy. You need to set yourself a little bit of time every day to actually do some work, do something productive, even if it's just clean the house, or you just want to write a blog or something like that. Anything that you can set yourself as a little bit of work, and in the afternoon, that's when you can actually spend some time for yourself. It's helped me a lot. Doing these videos is helping a lot. Again, very, very sorry that this was very rambly, but it's very much inspired by just what I saw yesterday when I was walking out, and it actually did quite upset me to see that so many people are still not taking this seriously. And hopefully, Doctor Vetallius, the plague doctor, might have hammered that home a little bit today. And hopefully the lesson of the people of Dubrovnik, hopefully their sacrifice won't be in vain, both in the short term and in the long term, from the lessons that we can learn from that. So thank you very much. Stay safe, stay home if you can, and look after yourselves. Thank you, and see you next time.